So welcome to the Parkinson's Foundation's Mindfulness Mondays. We'll begin with our formal kind of session in just a few moments. For anyone who's returning and it's been some time, or if this is your first time here, just know that you will be on mute for the duration of our session today. You can choose to be on camera or not. As you can see, I am noticing your faces here and it's bringing a big smile to mine. So I love to see your presence. Also, just being mindful of what's in your camera. So next Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We will not be hosting a live session. And then the week after that is our Spanish programming. So our next session will be on January 29th with yours truly. And we're going to be honoring Jon Kabat-Zinn and his book, Coming Home to Our Senses. So if that resonates with you, I look forward to seeing you on January 29th. This week, our Wellness Wednesday is on exploring how to manage weight loss and retaining muscle mass and Parkinson's disease. So maintaining a healthy weight is key to living well with Parkinson's. In this session, we'll learn why keeping weight on and retaining muscle mass can be a challenge for someone living with Parkinson's. And we'll know when weight loss is becoming a problem and when and how to find support. So if that resonates with you, visit parkinson.org/pdhealth, and I'll see you this Wellness Wednesday. There's our website if you have questions or want to dive deeper into any topics related to Parkinson's disease, or if you'd like to talk to a Parkinson's specialist. We have helpline staff members at 1-800-4PD-INFO, English and Spanish, and you can also email us at helpline@parkinson.org. So I don't see anyone writing in the chat that they're new here, so welcome back, everybody. So glad you're here. Before I pass the mic to Dr. Taylor Rush, just want to land. So find that seat of reverence, something that allows you to be present and aware of your body wherever you are. And then relax the knees. Hi, Ian. Welcome. Welcome, Ian. Everyone say hi, Ian. Welcome. Good. And just relax the shoulders, relax the muscles in your face. It's interesting in a yoga class, I notice, or even just out in public, you notice people doing this all the time. Let's see if you can actively, consciously relax those shoulders. Maybe wiggle around a little. Good. Push all the air out of your lungs. And take a deep breath in. And let that breath go. We'll do it again. Beautiful breathing, everyone. I have a question for you before we pass it over to Dr. Rush. And thinking, it's January 8th. There's lots of processing perhaps going on, or motivation or inspiration to change patterns, behaviors, thoughts, impressions, routines, and reflecting on some of the questions I asked myself during my intention practices. Curious, how do you want to feel this year? How do you want to feel? And you can respond in the chat. How do you want to feel in 2024? A few words that came to mind when I was meditating on this was courageous. I want to feel inspired. I want to feel loved. I want to feel held. I want to feel supported. Let's see. Serene. Thank you, Julie. Cheryl says stronger, calm. Sandy, alive again. And Sandy, you are living. Kieran, I want to be happy and loved. How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? Healthy. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel helpful to others and myself. Oh, Charlotte, yes, and myself. I want to feel not stressed. I want to feel alive. I want to feel stronger. I want to feel at ease in all situations. Welcome, Jim from Scotland. I want to feel confident. What else? Feel free to continue writing how you want to feel in the year 2024. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Rush to guide us through a beautiful meditation she's prepared. Thank you, Dr. Rush.
Thank you, Krista. I love this question because I think that it plays very nicely into the topic that I wanted to share with you guys today. So happy New Year, everyone. I'm so glad that you are starting off 2024 and joining us for our Mindfulness Monday today. And I was spending some time over my holiday break. I was able to spend a bit of time away from work and with my kids, and to be able to just have a bit of downtime and a bit of reflection and spend the holiday with people that I care about. And one thing that also ended up happening on more than one day over the course of my time off was I found myself doing a lot of cleaning out. So, cleaning out closets, cleaning out my kids' rooms, cleaning out of just clutter and stuff because I had some time to do it and it just felt really good to do so. And I was thinking about our topic for today, and I was just coming off the heels of my own vacation time. And I've found that it's just amazing what we end up holding on to and all the things that tend to take up space in our lives, even just physical objects, And so as I was helping my kids clean out their rooms, there was old toys and clothes that don't fit and a bunch of empty makeup containers from my teenager and all of these things that can cause us to feel sometimes overwhelmed and scattered and anxious. And even for my kids, they felt this way because as I was telling them that in order to prepare for Christmas we needed to clean things out, they were like, no, I don't want to do that. That sounds like a lot of work. That's not something I really want to do. It's not fun. I'm on vacation. And they were dreading this task. And then we kind of got everything cleared out and organized everything, put everything away. And they both felt amazing. They're like, oh my gosh, my room is so much nicer. Everything, I know where it all is. I can access the things that I need to. And even just after my older one's room got cleaned, the younger one's like, can we start on mine now? Because hers looks really good. And so it's just this amazing catharsis that can come with cleaning things out. And being able to do that physically can feel so good. And, we often, hold on to things because we aren't sure what to do with them. So we just kind of put them away in case we need them for later. And we end up accumulating all of this stuff. And, even for adults, that just gets worse. That's way worse than kids even. We have so much that we accumulate over the years. We end up moving, we accrue things. And what I often find with many of my patients that I work with who have Parkinson's is that they find themselves in a situation of needing to downsize. They move into smaller homes or into supported living communities, and they end up needing to go through decades worth of stuff. And through that process, they can realize that, my gosh, that this takes a lot of energy to even hold on to all this stuff. And it creates all of this overwhelm, even though once we're done organizing it, there's a lot of freedom and peace that can come along with having done the task, right? And while this is all very true of possessions and the actual physical clutter of our house, a lot of times we don't necessarily always recognize that we may do this with emotions too. And so I really wanted us to spend a little bit of time talking about how to clean out one's emotional closet. Because if we really sit down and quiet our minds to take a look at what we hold on to, we sometimes find that we are holding on to things that no longer serve us. We may hold on to anger. We may hold on to feelings of resentment or guilt or shame or anxiety because of situations that occurred sometimes recently or sometimes a very long time ago. And that holding on to emotion, that holding on to those experiences ends up causing some clutter in our minds. And it takes up a lot of space and it can weigh pretty heavily on us. And in that process, because there is this clutter of the past, we may not always have room to be able to take on what we want for ourselves in the present or in the future. And sometimes we may even forget about things that we're grateful for or appreciate because we haven't given ourselves time to really reflect on some of our emotional holding ons. And so, it can be an incredibly empowering experience to be able to give yourself an opportunity to kind of do that check-in, to be able to tell yourself, gosh, I'm going to kind of inventory, what is it that I'm feeling? What is it that I've learned from? What is it that I'm maybe holding on to that no longer makes sense? And, as we head into the new year, as I've started resuming seeing my patients again, a lot of them are intuitively asking themselves these questions because it is the beginning of the year. It's this time of renewal. It's this time of new intentions. It's this ability to, in some ways, psychologically hit a reset button now that we are in a new year. And it truly can be a wonderful time to be mindful. We can be mindful and engage in reflection about ourselves, about our growth, about our lives, about our loved ones, and also be able to take inventory of what we're grateful for and what we may want to let go of. And what's really nice is that if you check in with your emotional closet more often than once a year or once every decade or however long it is, it ends up being a much more manageable task. And that's true of regular closets as much as it is emotional ones. And so I thought that we could spend a few minutes in a meditation that allows you a time of reflection, allows you a little time to explore your emotional closet so that maybe we can start off 2024 with some of that reflection in place and some of your intention in place for all of those wonderful things that you hope to feel for this coming year. So let's go ahead and get comfy in our seats. And if you're sitting, if you prefer lying down, whatever position helps you to feel most supported. And for those of you who are well seasoned with our mindfulness practice, you'll know that we typically start with just gaining awareness to where your body parts are in relation to yourself. Feeling your feet under you, perhaps. Noticing where your arms are. They may be resting on your body, your lap. And if it feels good to do so, bringing focus to the breath. You can close your eyes if it's helpful, or keep them open and find a soft focus point in front of you. And just notice the rhythm of your breath as air comes in and as it moves out. Allowing the breath to be your anchor in this moment. Allowing you to focus on the here and now. And if at ever any time you start to feel yourself drift or become overwhelmed by some of the prompts in our meditation, you always, always have the opportunity to come back to just the breath. And now I'd like you to consider reflecting on the events of your past year. And for some, that may feel overwhelming. For some, it may feel like there's not enough to reflect on. Just remember, we're here to review without judgment. Just notice what comes up, and other things may end up popping into your mind later. As you think about your year and the many things that may have gone on, reflecting on maybe what went well this past year. What did you enjoy? What are you grateful for from this past year? Who you were maybe able to connect with? And also, what didn't go so well? What are situations that caused stress or hardship or grief? Because often there's a mix of both the things that went well and not so well. But maybe what did you learn from both types of situations? With all of our experiences, good, bad, or questionable, there may be things that we learn. We learn ways not to do things sometimes. We learn how much we can endure. We learn sometimes who we can trust, and maybe sometimes, unfortunately, who we can't rely upon. And with those lessons in our lives come a whole host of ripple effects of emotions. Last month, we talked about ripples on a lake and those disruptions that occur in our lives and the emotions that can become overwhelming. So if you think about the ripples from the events of this past year, what are ones that you may be holding on to that no longer serve you? Maybe you're hanging yourself up by your toenails with guilt over something that you couldn't control or predict. Maybe there are feelings of anger towards a person or situation that did not go well. Maybe you're holding on to fear regarding ambiguity about the future based on experiences in the past. What emotional clutter do you think would be helpful to let go of? Allow yourself to inventory that. Not that you'll be able to do it right now in this moment, but awareness is key to being able to let go. Based on again, your experiences from this past year. We don't just want to inventory what we want to let go of. Sometimes there's a donation pile in there too. What is it in this coming year that you may want to give to others? Maybe it's some sort of support, comfort, compassionate ear, a kind word. What do you want others to have that you don't want to just keep to yourself? Because sometimes we really appreciate certain people in our lives, but we may not always verbalize it. What do you not want to keep to yourself that others might benefit from hearing or sharing with you? You inventory this, remembering to do so non-judgmentally. It's not about what you should do for others. It's about what you want to do, what you can do, what you intend to do. And then lastly, thinking about what do you want to keep in this coming year that serves you? That very well may be your mindfulness practice on Mondays and beyond. It might be the confidence to directly communicate your needs to someone. That may mean applying the lessons learned from some of the hardship you experienced this past year or even before. Just reflecting on those things in your emotional closet that are worth keeping because they're valuable. They serve you well. They're worth fostering and making room for. That's part of this emotional cleaning process too, is it's not that we can necessarily completely erase the past of the things that we want to let go of, but how do we not hold on to some of those emotional after effects that allow you to make room for the new experiences, new connections, new lessons. How can you facilitate an open heart to allow yourself the opportunity for these new experiences? The ability to live your life in the best way that you can for 2024. Again, keeping the S word, should, out of it. What do you want? What is valuable to you? As each and every one of you deserves to be able to live the best life that you can. And not holding on to the things that cause clutter and chaos in your life emotionally. Taking one nice deep breath here as you acknowledge your value and your worth in continuing your mindfulness journey, and that you deserve to let go of those things that no longer serve you. This process starts with giving yourself permission. Allow yourself to open that door. And we'll do one more deep breath here. And when you're ready, bringing yourself back to a more active awareness. Wiggling your fingers, your toes, opening your eyes when you're ready. Coming back to our virtual room. Starting to see some eyes open. There we go. Okay. Welcome back. So we have technically a minute, but I'll go slightly longer if we can to talk a little bit about uh, your experience with this, how it felt to reflect on your emotional closet, and anything that you would care to share as far as what you would like to hold on to, what you would like to let go of, what you might like to give to others. We certainly would love to hear your thoughts. And Chris, I was thinking about your question at the beginning for what do you want to feel in 2024? And I would say for me, it's like the word that I keep coming back to is connection. And I think that ends up being such a powerful thing for all of us, right? That's why we're here. And so for me, I would like to be connected to myself and my own needs, to those of my loved ones, as well as to my patients and those that I work with. So just thought I'd share that in a moment of vulnerability. Okay. So Scott said, he helped me to empty the bottom drawer where I put all the negative experiences from last year. It's always that bottom drawer, right? We all have that one drawer at least that we put things in that we don't want to look at or think about. And you had a few, everyone came in at once here. Let's see, some people wish it was more prolonged. I wish we had more time too. And it would allow for a little bit more space for quiet too. I agree. I would like that as well. And Cheryl said letting go of anger, keeping connected. And Julie said, I had too many thoughts in the session. Could it be my closet is packed? I think that's a great question to ask, because sometimes we do have a very full closet, and sometimes I'll tell my patients that sometimes it gets to a point where we try to shove everything into that one junk closet, all of the emotions, all the experiences, and eventually the door doesn't shut. And we have no choice but to actually kind of sort through it. And so sometimes the closet can be much more cluttered than other times. And Charlotte had said in the process of moving and can relate to clearing out, and hadn't considered emotional purging of things that no longer serve me. So it was helpful to consider letting go. I discovered a lot of emotions around events, which I would like to let go. Yeah, sometimes, and the thing is that sometimes I think we have this assumption if we ignore it, it doesn't exist. It won't be there. But in fact, those emotions just tend to accumulate, and then they affect us in other ways that we don't recognize. So even if we don't always acknowledge them, doesn't mean that they don't exist or they're not affecting us. So it can be a very powerful and sometimes overwhelming experience to try to do this. And so, but it often ends up helping in the long run to do it. And sometimes you need a little help doing it, either with a trusted friend or loved one, or even a therapist. And let's see, some first timers said that they feel more relaxed, so that's great. And Jim had said he intends to live in the present and not ruminate or catastrophize. And let's see here. And someone had said that it's even hard to get into their closet, and that can sometimes be a challenge in and of itself to even get yourself into a space where you feel like you can check in emotionally. And so I think that, even just being aware that it's hard to gain access to it is a helpful start. So don't be discouraged by that. And it may take a few rounds before you can get there. So I do want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I greatly appreciate everyone being so participative and sharing their experiences with the group. This has been always a fantastic experience for me to be with you guys, and so I am very grateful that you keep inviting me back, and I really look forward to a wonderful 2024 with all of you as we continue to explore our mindfulness practice.
Thanks, Dr. Rush. It's a couple of things I wanna thread in the themes that I'm picking up. One, meditation isn't easy, and if it was, everyone would be doing it. And there's often a lot of resistance to stillness and to being present with your thoughts and emotions. So if you found some resistance here, an invitation to get curious and continue coming back and exploring that resistance together in community. And second, I wanted to share, I listened to a podcast this morning that was talking about how meditation is healing chronic disease. And this was a neuroscientist sharing his research in that field, Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you've heard of him. It was called Create the Love podcast. So if you like podcasts, really beautiful interview with Mark Groves talking about the trajectory of healing and changing the body through meditation. So a little something to play with in our weeks that we won't be together. So next time, as a reminder, friendly reminder, January 29th is when we'll reconnect online in person. You can always continue this journey by tuning into our YouTube sessions. Dr. Rush has a whole library of mindful meditations, and there's other many voices too of perspectives and ways to practice mindful meditation that benefits Parkinson's and those who are affected by Parkinson's disease. All right. Well, thinking of the words that you shared, joy, alive, inspired, confident, may all of that resonate with you throughout this joyful season of winter here on the western side of the world and of summer over there, wherever you are, and all the in-betweens. Until soon again, we'll see you guys. Be well.